Welcome to my channel, Worldwise. I bet you didn't know how the morning of December 7th, 1941 dawned bright and clear over Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The sun rose slowly, casting a golden hue over the tranquil waters, a deceptive calm before the storm. The United States Pacific Fleet lay at anchor, seemingly at peace in the calm waters. Battleships, cruisers and destroyers rested quietly, their crews unaware of the impending disaster. Sailors went about their daily routines, performing morning duties and preparing for another day. They were completely unaware of the danger lurking on the horizon, a threat that would soon change their lives forever. At 7:55 a.m., the tranquility was shattered. Explosions erupted, and the peaceful morning turned into chaos. Japanese aircraft, approaching undetected, filled the sky. The roar of engines and the whistling of bombs heralded the beginning of a devastating assault. The surprise attack on Pearl Harbor had begun. Bombs and torpedoes rained down, targeting ships and airfields with deadly accuracy. The first wave of Japanese bombers struck with devastating precision. Explosions rocked the harbor and flames engulfed the ships. Torpedoes slammed into the hulls of battleships, sending plumes of smoke and debris into the air. The once mighty vessels were now burning wrecks. Airfields were transformed into infernos as bombs ignited fuel and ammunition. Planes were destroyed on the ground and the sky was filled with black smoke. American sailors, caught off guard, scrambled to man their battle stations, their courage tested in the face of overwhelming odds. They fought back with whatever means they had, determined to defend their base. The attack, a pivotal moment in American history, would live on in infamy. It marked the entry of the United States into World War II, forever changing the course of history. Amidst the chaos and carnage at Pearl Harbor, stories of extraordinary heroism emerged. One such story is that of Doris Miller, a young African-American sailor serving as a mess attendant aboard the USS West Virginia. When the attack began, Miller's assigned battle station was passing ammunition, but he refused to remain idle. He rushed to the deck and joined the fight. Despite lacking any formal training, Miller took control of an anti-aircraft gun and began firing at the attacking planes. He remained at his post, bravely defending his ship until he was ordered to abandon the sinking vessel. For his extraordinary bravery, Doris Miller was awarded the Navy Cross, becoming a symbol of courage and resilience in the face of adversity. The attack on Pearl Harbor, while shocking in its execution, was not entirely unprovoked. Japan, a rising military power in the Pacific, had been steadily expanding its empire throughout the 1930s. Its invasion of Manchuria in 1931 and subsequent war with China had drawn international condemnation. The United States, opposed to Japan's aggression, responded with economic sanctions, cutting off vital supplies of oil and steel. Japan's leaders, facing a crippling resource shortage, saw the attack on Pearl Harbor as a desperate gamble, a way to cripple the US Pacific Fleet and buy time to secure the resources it needed in Southeast Asia. Section 4: Devastation at Pearl Harbor. The attack on Pearl Harbor was a devastating blow to the US Pacific Fleet. On the morning of December 7, 1941, waves of Japanese aircraft descended upon the unsuspecting harbor, unleashing a torrent of bombs and torpedoes. 4 battleships were sunk, including the USS Arizona, which exploded spectacularly, taking the lives of over 1,100 men. The Arizona's destruction was a tragic symbol of the attack's ferocity. Another 4 battleships were heavily damaged. The scale of destruction was unprecedented, leaving the Pacific Fleet in disarray. In total, 188 US aircraft were destroyed and over 2,400 American servicemen were killed. The airfields were left in ruins, with planes reduced to smoldering wreckage. The attack, while achieving tactical surprise, ultimately failed to cripple the American spirit. The sight of the American flag still flying amidst the devastation became a powerful symbol of resilience. The surviving ships and aircraft would be repaired, and the losses, though heavy, would be avenged. The American military quickly mobilized, turning the tragedy into a rallying cry for action. The nation, united in grief and outrage, rallied behind the call to arms. Across the country, men and women enlisted in droves, determined to defend their homeland and seek justice. The date, which will live in infamy, had galvanized the American people and set the stage for their entry into World War II. President Roosevelt's stirring words echoed across the nation, solidifying the resolve to fight and ultimately triumph. Section 5. America enters the fray. The attack on Pearl Harbor shocked the American people out of their isolationist stance. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, in a stirring address to Congress, declared war on Japan, calling December 7th a date which will live in infamy. The United States, once hesitant to involve itself in another global conflict, was now fully committed to defeating the Axis powers. America's entry into World War II had a profound impact on the course of the conflict. The nation's industrial might and vast manpower reserves tipped the balance of power in favor of the Allies. American soldiers, sailors, and airmen fought with courage and determination on battlefields across the globe, from the beaches of Normandy to the jungles of the Pacific. Section 6. Retaliation, the Doolittle Raid. In the aftermath of the Pearl Harbor attack, the United States sought a way to strike back at the Japanese homeland and boost morale at home. The Doolittle Raid, named after its commander, Lieutenant Colonel James Doolittle, was a daring bombing raid on Tokyo and other Japanese cities. On April 18, 1942, 16 B-25 bombers, launched from the aircraft carrier USS Hornet, took off on their perilous mission. The raid, while causing relatively minor damage, had a significant psychological impact. It demonstrated to the Japanese that their homeland was not invulnerable to attack, and boosted American morale. Section 7. The Atomic Bomb and the End of the War. The war in the Pacific raged for nearly 4 long years. It was a brutal and relentless conflict, marked by fierce battles and significant loss of life on both sides. The vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean became a deadly battleground, with each island becoming a fortress to be defended or conquered. American forces, island hopping across the Pacific, slowly pushed back the Japanese. This strategy involved capturing key islands and using them as bases to launch further assaults, gradually tightening the noose around Japan. By the summer of 1945, Japan, facing imminent defeat, refused to surrender unconditionally. Despite the overwhelming odds, the Japanese military and government were determined to fight to the bitter end, hoping to negotiate more favorable terms. In a desperate attempt to end the war and save American lives, President Harry Truman made the fateful decision to use atomic bombs. This decision was influenced by the desire to avoid a costly invasion of Japan, which was estimated to result in a high number of casualties. On August 6, 1945, an atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, causing unprecedented destruction and loss of life. The city was almost entirely obliterated in an instant, followed 3 days later by another on Nagasaki. This second bombing further demonstrated the devastating power of atomic weapons and left the Japanese leadership in shock. The devastation caused by these bombs was unprecedented. Entire neighborhoods were reduced to rubble, and the human cost was staggering. Hundreds of thousands of people were killed instantly, with many more suffering from severe injuries and burns, and countless others would succumb to radiation sickness in the years to come. The long-term effects of radiation exposure led to a myriad of health issues, including cancer and genetic damage. Faced with such overwhelming destruction, Japan surrendered on August 15, 1945, bringing an end to the most devastating conflict in human history, bringing World War II to an end. The world rejoiced, but the shadow of the atomic bomb would loom large over the future. The atomic bombings, while controversial, ushered in the atomic age and forever changed the nature of warfare. The immense destructive power of these weapons introduced a new era of geopolitical tension and the threat of nuclear annihilation.
Watch my next video now.